Okay, so have you ever woken up after you think you've had like a good night's sleep, and then bam, you find a line of these itchy red bumps on your arm?
Oh, yeah.
Itchy welts that make you like jump out of bed
Yeah.
and run straight to Google like, what is going
Oh,
on?
yeah, you go straight to bed bugs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it seems like you are all just as terrified of bed bugs as we are,
Uh,
because you asked us to like dive deep into bed bugs in California
yeah.
for this deep dive, specifically what to look for, where they hide, and how to evict these unwelcome guests.
Great.
So don't worry, we've got you covered.
We do.
We are arming ourselves with a recent article from Simple Pest Management. They're a California-based pest control company, so you know they've seen it all.
Oh, they've seen it all.
Yeah.
And living in California myself, I can tell you this information is very, very important.
Oh, yeah.
Very crucial. Because California's warmer climate makes it like prime real estate for bed bugs, unfortunately.
It's like a year-round open invitation
Yes.
that no one wants to RSVP to.
Exactly.
But instead of panicking, let's unpack some of the most important takeaways from this article.
Okay.
First off, it stresses that those infamous bites, while often the first sign people notice, aren't always a reliable indicator.
That's true. Some people, they don't even react to the bites, which is why it's very important to know the other telltale signs.
Exactly.
Like those mysterious rust-colored stains on your sheets.
Oh, yeah.
Or a weird musty odor.
Yeah, you think it's one thing, but it could be bed bugs.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Recognizing those signs are very important.
Especially here in California.
Yes, especially in California, where they can multiply faster than our electric bills in the summer.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So it's all about early detection.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so let's dive into those 6 telltale signs
Okay.
that the article highlights.
Okay.
Starting with the bites.
Okay.
They often appear in lines or clusters, almost like a creepy, crawly connect-the-dots game that you definitely don't want to play.
No, you don't want to play that game. And it's so interesting how everyone reacts to bites differently.
Yeah.
Some people might not even realize they have a bed bug problem until they see the telltale signs, like the stains on their sheets.
Which, let's be honest, is a sight that can ruin anyone's morning.
Oh, for sure.
The article describes them as rusty or reddish marks,
Yes.
often found on bedding,
Yeah.
but also on mattresses and even furniture.
That's right.
It's like they want to leave their mark everywhere they go.
Everywhere. They want you to know they were there.
Literally. And there are those bed bug droppings.
Yes.
Those tiny dark spots that look deceptively innocent.
Yes, like little ink splatters.
Right.
Yes.
But don't let their size fool you. These droppings can quickly multiply, especially with a larger infestation.
Oh, absolutely. And those droppings are like breadcrumbs leading you right to their hiding spot.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
And speaking of hiding spots, that musty odor
Ugh.
that the article mentioned. Have you smelled that?
That's another level.
So creepy.
Yeah, who knew bugs could be so fragrant? The article says it's caused by alarm pheromones,
Right.
like their way of communicating danger.
Communicating. Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of cool if you think about it.
It's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows how complex those little creatures are. They may be small, but they are masters of survival.
Oh, yeah.
But back to the signs, those shed skins and shells.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Those always give me the chills.
Like little ghosts of bed bugs past.
Yes.
Just reminding you that these creatures are masters of disguise.
Yes, and molting.
Ugh. It's like something straight out of a horror movie.
I know.
And speaking of things straight out of horror movies, actually spotting a live bed bug.
Yes.
The article describes them as small, wingless, reddish-brown insects, about the size of an apple seed.
Yes.
Easy to miss, easy to spread. It's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. And remember, we're only seeing a tiny fraction of the problem.
Yeah.
For every bed bug you see, there could be dozens, even hundreds lurking out of sight.
Okay, that's enough to make anyone want to sleep with the lights on. We've covered the signs, but now comes the million-dollar question. Where do these little ninjas like to hide? Let's play detective, shall we?
Let's do it.
Our article from Simple Pest Management gives us a room-by-room guide, so let's start with the most obvious spot, our mattresses.
They don't call them bed bugs for nothing. It's like prime real estate for them. Warm, cozy, and close to their food source, which, unfortunately, is us.
Okay, that's both accurate and slightly disturbing.
Hmm.
But I guess it makes sense. We spend a third of our lives in bed, so it's bound to be a bed bug hotspot. And this article really dives deep into those mattress hiding spots.
It does. Mattress seams, tags, even the bed frame itself, they're looking for any tiny crevice to burrow into. And those headboards, especially if they have any kind of fabric covering, Think of it like a five-star hotel for bed bugs with plenty of nooks and crannies to call home.
I'm starting to rethink my headboard situation.
Right.
But let's say those sneaky critters aren't in the mattress itself. Where else should we be looking?
Well, if we think like a bed bug, the next logical step would be furniture. Couches, chairs, dressers, basically anything with those tempting crevices. Think about it. We spend a lot of time on our furniture too, so it makes sense they'd see these spots as prime real estate.
It's like they're following our every move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. This article even mentions pulling out drawers and checking those, which, I'll admit, isn't something I always do.
It's an easily overlooked spot. We often focus on the surfaces we can see, but those hidden crevices are like penthouse suites for bed bugs. Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Exactly. Until it's too late, that is. But here's a real head-scratcher for me. The article also mentions walls as potential hiding spots. Walls. Seriously.
It sounds crazy, but it's true. Remember how we talked about them squeezing into any tiny space? Well, cracks in the walls, loose wallpaper, baseboards, those are all fair game. And get this, the article even mentions electrical outlets.
Okay, that's it. I'm officially terrified of my own walls now. So let's say we've done our due diligence, we've channeled our inner Sherlock Holmes, and we find some of those telltale signs. What's the game plan?
Time to evict those unwanted guests. And this is where things get interesting. The article offers some pretty practical advice on how to tackle those pesky bed bugs, starting with everyone's favorite chore, laundry day.
The sweet smell of defeat. For bed bugs, that is. High heat is the name of the game here, right?
Exactly. Wash everything that can handle it, bedding, linens, even curtains in the hottest water possible, and then toss them in the dryer on high heat for at least 30 minutes. Think of it like a sauna for bed bugs, except this time, they don't get to relax and enjoy it.
It's more like a death trap disguised as a spa day. But what about those items that can't be tossed in the washing machine?
For those, we bring out the heavy-duty artillery, the vacuum cleaner. And not just a quick once-over. We're talking deep cleaning, paying special attention to those cracks and crevices where they might be hiding. Get that crevice attachment ready.
Basically, become a bedbug bounty hunter. Leave no crevice unchecked. But even with all that cleaning, some items might still feel like a gamble. What about things like luggage or backpacks that have been exposed?
For those non-washable items, the article suggests sealing them in plastic bags for 2 to 3 weeks. It sounds like overkill, but remember, bed bugs are resilient. They can survive for months without food, so a little plastic prison is nothing for them.
Right, better safe than sorry. But there comes a point where even the most diligent DIY efforts might not cut it. At what point do we wave the white flag and call in the professionals?
It's a great question. The article suggests considering professional help if you've tried those initial steps and you're still seeing signs of bed bugs. It's like calling in the A-team for bed bug extermination.
Because sometimes you need the big guns, right?
Precisely. Pest control professionals like those at Simple Pest Management have access to advanced solutions and specialized treatments that we can't just buy at the store.
Plus, they have the experience to assess the situation and tailor a treatment plan to your specific needs.
Exactly. They've seen it all and they know what works. Plus, there's something to be said for peace of mind, knowing you've got experts on your side.
You know, as we were going through this article, it really struck me that it focuses almost entirely on the visual cues.
Right, the visual signs.
Yeah.
Makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Early detection is key.
Right.
And those visuals, like the stains and the shed skin, those are pretty much undeniable.
Yeah, but it makes me think, are we missing other clues?
That's a good question.
What about sound?
Sound.
Yeah. Could there be subtle noises that bed bugs make, especially in large numbers, that could maybe tip us off to their presence?
But that's interesting.
Imagine a tiny symphony of bed bug feet, just skittering across your mattress.
Okay.
I can't
Really?
That's both intriguing and absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to hear that orchestra.
Right.
But it is an interesting thought because there could be a whole world of bed bug sounds, like maybe rustling or scratching or even communication signals that we don't even know about.
Yeah, we are totally unaware.
Right. Exactly.
It's we are only hearing one note in their entire opera.
That's a good way to put it.
And speaking of senses, what about smell? I mean, the article mentions that musty odor from their alarm pheromones.
Right.
But could there be other smells they emit? Maybe even smells we could use to detect them before they become a huge infestation.
That's very true because we often focus on the visual cues, but maybe their sense of smell is actually way more important to their behavior than we even realize.
Yeah, it's like we're just starting to understand their secret world,
Exactly.
which is kind of cool and also terrifying.
Yes.
It makes me wonder, like, what other senses are they using to navigate their environment?
Right.
Like touch, taste.
Right. All of them.
I don't know. It's crazy to think about.
I know. It's amazing to think about, right? These tiny creatures, often dismissed as just pests, might be having like a way more complex sensory experience than we even give them credit for.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that there's always more to learn,
Absolutely.
even about the things that we find, like, completely unsettling.
Exactly.
So if any of you listeners out there are scientists, entomologists, or just have a healthy curiosity about bed bugs, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes, please tell us, because sharing knowledge is how we all learn
Yes,
and stay ahead of those pesky bed bugs.
exactly. And speaking of staying ahead, before we wrap things up, I had one final thought. The article mentions that bed bugs are more common in warmer climates,
Right, like California.
like California.
Yeah.
But what about colder regions?
Ooh.
Do they, like, hibernate in the winter? Or do those resourceful little critters find ways to thrive even in freezing temperatures?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one.
Right.
We need to look into that. It's a good reminder that while we were focusing on California today, bed bugs are a global issue.
Oh, yeah.
And it's important to understand how they adapt to different environments.
It's like a never-ending game of hide and seek with these little guys.
It really is, but knowledge is power.
Yeah.
So by understanding their habits, their hiding spots, and those telltale signs, we can stay one step ahead.
Well said.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe one day we will be able to use their own senses against them.
Right. Imagine that.
Until then, keep those eyes peeled, those vacuums handy, and don't hesitate to call in the professionals if you need backup.
A little vigilance goes a long way.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of bed bugs in California. Until next time, sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite.